Hello, hi. Today we'll be talking about a man who is a myth and a legend. Many people don't know this man's story, but today I'll just explain his story and tell you who this man is and what is capable coming out from this man. This man who I'm going to talk about today is a man who is dangerous, a man who is a total threat to the international security of the whole world. This man has threatened many countries, and this man is feared by many countries, and most of the people know this man, and this man, people know him for his way of leadership and his way of dictatorship also. So this man who I'm going to talk today about is the president of Russia, who is known and everybody knows him as Putin. And right now, you know what is currently happening in the world, where Putin has invaded Ukraine and it's threatening the livelihood of Ukraine. And right now, Putin wants to take over completely the country Ukraine. So, how did this come to Putin's mind of taking over Ukraine? This started a long time ago when he began to become the president of Russia. So when Putin wanted to become the president of Russia, at that time there was the Soviet Union had broken up, and the Soviet Union had broken up into Georgia and also Ukraine, where right now you know it as Ukraine as an independent country and also Georgia as an independent country also. And now Russia, which is the bigger part of the Soviet Union. So it broke around there in the 1980s and 1990s, where there wasn't a strong coalition between them. So it eventually led into the breaking up of these three different countries. So around the year of 2000 is when the speculation over Putin started coming up. So Putin has been the president of Russia from 2000. So take this, do some calculation from 2000 till right here 2023. He has been the president of Russia for 23 good years. 23 good years is a lot of years for somebody to become a president. So Putin has seen many presidents of US. He has seen the world changing and he has seen the world evolving. So Putin has a clear state of the world and how the world operates. Because unlike the other presidents who come and they're given books of how the country has been operating, Putin has been in this game for a long time, since the year 2000 is when Putin became the president of Russia. So in this year 2000, the Putin had lost for 14 days. Putin got lost for almost 14 days. No sign of Putin. Putin is not had at that time. He was a KGB agent, and a KGB agent is equivalent to the FBI agent of the US. So FBI and KGB agent almost do the same work of intelligence and those service. So Putin is a person who is trained in war and also trained into a service of doing things in a certain type of way. Unlike the presidents of the world, where they operate just like anyhow, Putin has a way of to operate and he has a code of conduct. So around there 2000, Putin went into missing for almost 14 days. And it said in those 14 days is where he was being brainwashed and being indoctrinated the doctrine of becoming the president of Russia. And Russia were choosing who will become the president and bring back Russia into its former state of glory, where it was deemed as great at the times of the Soviet Union. So Putin got lost for 14 days, where he was trained and he was given some mysterious things. He was trained to do things. So when he came out of after training for those 14 days, when he was inaugurated to become the president of Russia, Putin was a person who had some training where he would hide his emotions. He was somebody who would hide his emotions even though in what type of situation, he was trained not to show his emotions. So because Russia was a country which was oftenly depicted by the media, and all eyes were on the media, on the country of Russia. So Putin showing any type of emotion will signal to other countries what type of country Russia is and what type of Putin Putin character is. So a president is very serious because there are some people in this world who have been taught on how to look at somebody's body language and how to explain what this person is thinking. So Putin was trained to anti anti reflect the person who is trying to read him. So reading Putin was very hard from the first time because he went into a certain type of training. So when he was being inaugurated for becoming the president of Russia, Putin, there's a certain type way Putin walks. Putin walks with one of his hand down and the other one he walks like he's marching. The one of his hand is always down. If you just check on his videos, most videos where he walks, one of his hand is down. So the way Putin walks is a trained way. People say that one of his hand is on the court where he can actively, in case of any threat, he can actively defend himself and also be able to escape that threat. Because you know that there have been many attempts of assassinations on the presidents. Many presidents have been assassinated, as you know, presidents of America like John F. Kennedy, Robert Kennedy have been assassinated. So this is one thing that Putin needed to prevent this occurring again. So Putin from the start when he was inaugurated in the year 2000, this man people knew, could tell, and also this was a different type of man. This man, when Putin started to talk and gave that speech, he was very young. He was a boy of maybe 30 years old. He was 30 years old, very young, given a very large position of the country. So people were asking, how can how does this young boy be given this large position of a country? Then it means that this person has something which many other people doesn't have. Or is this person Superman? Because he's very young and he has been given a type of responsibility which a person of his age cannot bear unless this person is capable of it and is more capable. So at his very first speech when he was talking in the year 2000 is when people knew what type of person Putin was. And people by that his first speech, people knew this person was he was a special person. Although he was at minimal age, he was special because his first speech, he introduced himself very well, and also he said his main agenda is to make Russia the big country as it was before. So as you seen the invasion of Ukraine right now, this is a promise that was made by Putin 20 years ago when he was inaugurated to become the president of Russia. This was their main agenda, to bring back Ukraine and to bring back these other countries back to what Russia was a long time ago. So when Putin he had to meet other presidents of USA, because at that time USA had to be on a lookout what is happening on Russia and what is happening, because something that is happening to Russia could be an implication and also could result into something to happen to the USA. So USA had to be on the lookout so much of anything that is happening, in particular on the country of Russia. They wouldn't want to take chances with the country of Russia. So a meeting had to be scheduled between the president of USA and the president of Russia, which was Putin, in the year 2000. So when they met, they had some interactions and they knew each other very well. That at that time the president was George Bush. So George Bush was asked in an interview when George Bush went to Russia to meet Putin. George Bush was asked in the interview, how do you see this man? Is this man the right type of person who we can trust with the security of the world? and the security of the United States, because the security of the United States, people had have a fear with it, because maybe Russia will do some invasion on the United States, or Russia will go mad and also throw missiles to the whole world. So it was a key question which they asked the president, who was George Bush, on what he had perceived on this person who was Putin, the current head of Russia. So George Bush said he has no problem with his current president, and he says that they will be good people and they will be able to work with each other. But George Bush had some fear in him, because this man was a little bit uncooperative. He didn't want to cooperate, and he had a particular stance on the he didn't like United States. So George Bush saw this already on this man, and he knew this man will be a very big problem for the country of USA, and also the country and all of the whole world. So George Bush, when meeting with Putin, there were all some interaction, and also there were some problems here and there, which they didn't want to show the whole world, but there was a Cold War happening between them. But all this time they had already suppressed it. So because as I earlier on explained, that Putin was a person who was trained not to show any emotion and to show anything that could result into the fear of the world, and also the world will fear. So they were trained to hide emotions. Even when they do interview and there are 100 number of press, no one will know what Putin is thinking, because he was a man who was solid, and he will hide his thoughts in just on his face. He was a person who was trained to do that. So the first president to encounter was George Bush, which he left. So the second president of America to enter, which was Obama. So Obama and Putin hadn't had good relation really well. Obama and Putin, there was a type of disrespect between Putin, which he was diminishing Obama, because Obama was a black president, and he was saying, if US could reach a point where they could appoint a black president, then US is a fake country, because he didn't believe in a black person, and also Putin doesn't believe in democracy. So he knew that democracy of US has gone into an extent where it is easily manipulated. So Putin brushed it and said, how can a black person become the president of US? And one thing between Putin is not a person who favors democracy. So a black president becoming the president of USA would also diminish Putin, because Putin was against democracy. And this showed that USA has better power and has good things on the type of system that USA is being led on is good, because that is a system where there is democracy. Unlike Putin's system where there is no democracy, Putin is the final say. So Putin saw this as a threat, because people will believe more on the democracy part. So, and also Putin also saw that how can I talk to a black person? He's like a racist in some type of way. So when they first had a meeting with Obama in when there was a change of presidency, they had a meeting with Obama in Russia. When they met with Obama in Russia, in that first talk, Putin dominated the talk in the straight 45 minutes. He didn't want Obama to talk anything, and he wanted to tell Obama on what will happen and what he wants things to happen. So all this time, Putin, and it was in front of the press, and the press seeing this, it was broadcasted back to home, where it is in America, and to other countries. Also, other countries were seeing what was happening, and this type of meeting between Obama and Putin. So Putin on this journey, he was diminishing Obama and showing to Obama is the alpha male in that room. So Obama went back home and he was saddened about this particular person of Putin because Putin was very adamant and he was tough-headed. He didn't want to hear what Obama was saying, and typically it was some type of disrespect to Obama. So when Obama went back to USA. At that time, there was an invasion between Ukraine, Russia. There was an invasion between Russia and its former state of Russia, which was Georgia. So Georgia and Russia, Russia wanted to invade Georgia. So it threw missiles to Georgia, and it almost created a chaos in the world. So this war, which was for Ukraine, it is not the first for Russia to try this war. There was a war which Russia tried later, which was the war of Georgia and Russia. They wanted to capture the state of Georgia, but the USA and other countries of the Western countries also refused that. And also this also because Putin was becoming too much and he was becoming too cocky for the president. He wanted to show his dominance and he wanted to brush off all the leaders who were there. So and when Obama went back to USA, remember that time Obama's vice president was Joe Biden, and Joe Biden is now the current president of United States. So there's a relation. If you see Joe Biden is tough on Putin, it's because the incident where it happened, where President Putin had shown disrespect to his president Obama. So it's like Joe Biden is trying to revenge on uh, Joe is trying to revenge on Putin for what he had done to Obama right now. So Obama, when going back to USA, he gave that case of Putin to his vice president, who is Joe Biden. So Joe Biden is the one who was to do meetings with Putin. Obama just said, I can't do this meeting with this person because this person, we can't have talk to talk because there's a certain type of way where he disrespects me. So when what Biden did, Biden went to Russia and had talks with President Putin. When they had talks with President Putin, there's one thing that Biden said, that when they were talking with this person, he told he was looking at the eyes, straight into the eyes of Putin, and he told Putin, "I don't think you have a soul." Putin answered him, "At least now you understand me." So at that moment is when Biden knew what type of person is this. Putin was a dangerous person who didn't care about anybody's life and he will take it anyhowly. He just wanted his country to become great again under his rule. So President Obama, at that time, he put Joe Biden wanted to enforce some hard sanctions on Putin, but Putin at that time, President Obama told Biden not to press or to treat or to press or to show the whole world the type of enmity which was currently going on between Russia and USA. So it was played down, and also people didn't know much, but Obama told Vice President Joe Biden, don't draw any alteration or don't do anything wrong to Russia and don't revenge on them. So Obama's idea was to play cool, but Biden wanted to retaliate and show, to punish Russia for what they had done. So the regime of Obama had finished. Now a new regime which came was for Donald Trump. So Donald Trump, when he was becoming the president, there was some news which was going on that Russia had hacked the systems of USA and also had helped President Donald Trump to win the election. So there was this speculation which was going on. So what happened is when Donald Trump had won the presidency of America, he had to go and see Putin and have some talks with him. So one thing people saw that Donald Trump was he was a puppet for Putin, because when after finishing talking, when the press conference asked Donald Trump what had they talked about with Putin, he just brushed it off. And there's one simple question where they asked him, and Donald Trump failed on this question, is where Donald Trump was asked that the US intelligence has given out that the Russia had interfered in this election. What do you believe? Is this true? What the US intelligence say? The answer of Donald Trump was very shocking. The answer of Donald Trump, which he gave out, he said that he believes there was nothing which had happened to Russia interfering with the election. So first thing, Donald Trump showed that the intelligence of USA is bluffing, and there's nothing that the intelligence of USA is saying, because he refused and said that the election were not interfered. So the intelligence of USA wasn't clear on what it was saying. So the intelligence of USA wasn't an intelligence as the world knows it. So Donald Trump made a mistake there, and from there people knew that he was a puppet for Putin. And right now, Donald Trump is trying to campaign and go back and saying he's a tough leader. That's why Putin feared him. But all in all, Donald Trump was a puppet for Putin. All this time, Putin was the one who was using Donald Trump. So right now, where we come to the fourth president which Putin had encountered, which is Biden. And remember when that time when Obama told Biden not to show to retaliate and to sanction Russia for what it had done and to play it cool. Now it is the time for Joe Biden to revenge on what had happened earlier on, where his boss, which is Obama, had been diminished and had been disrespected by Putin. And that's why Joe Biden is very hard on Putin. And this case of the invasion of Ukraine, Joe Biden is completely against it, and he knows that this type of man which Putin is, this Putin doesn't have any soul, and he has to stop Putin, because if Putin manages to take Ukraine, the whole world will be in danger, because Putin, he is heartless. He doesn't care about the lives of people. So USA and the other Western countries are trying all things which is possible to stop Putin from invading Ukraine and taking it completely. So this is the story of Putin. At least I hope you have learned a little bit something about this man Putin and how he was and how he used to operate. Please subscribe and watch the next video for some real cool stories which we'll be talking about. And I say thank you and I appreciate so much.